around for ages. Like, the oldest mine is said to be around 43,000 years old. Mining is the process of digging into the earth to find minerals such as coal, gold, or any other mineral that humans find valuable. Since mining has been around for so long and people will dig just about anywhere to find something valuable, it's not a surprise that many mines become abandoned or forgotten. The Devil's Blast. This Chilean coal mine was given the name Devil's Blast because of the harsh conditions miners had to work through. On a normal day, they had to endure toxic gases, incredibly low oxygen levels, and even earth tremors. The place can be accessed through an underground passageway that snakes for roughly half a mile beneath the Pacific Ocean. And because the ocean was so near, the breeze would travel through the narrow alleys and pits of the construction, whistling and blasting its way through into the tunnels, giving the mine natural ventilation. The Devil's Blast was the only operational mine at the time that did not use artificial ventilation to ensure miners didn't suffocate. The town of Lota, to which the mine belonged to, lost its value after the mine stopped functioning in 1997. The mine was then reopened as a historical site to attract visitors to the town. Today, former miners work as guides, offering tours inside the mine by sharing first-hand experiences and stories. A mine in the backyard. We've all most likely found some pretty unusual things in our homes. Like, you were probably just walking around one day and noticed something that you definitely hadn't seen there before, like a book, some shoes, or something that isn't even really that interesting. Anthony Doolin, on the other hand, found something way better than just interesting in his backyard. One day, while he was walking around his 16.5 acres of property, he spotted a tunnel opening in the ground. Of course, a normal person would have most likely called someone before entering, but Mr. Doolin didn't. He just climbed right in. Upon entering, he realized there was a gold mine inside. After some research, Mr. Doolin found that there were many similar gold mines in the area, but never got around to checking if they still contained gold. He then sold the land, expecting a great return, but he was bamboozled. He only managed to pocket $1.02 million, $1.35 million, the same amount he initially paid for the property. Ukraine mine with huge machines. Ukraine's exit from the Soviet Union meant that many industrial entities, including cities as a whole, would be left behind. These spots offer free resources to looters, and it's understood that because of sites such as this, the country was indeed desperate to become independent. As a result, open-cast mines, which were built with incredible expertise, are now being sold off or left alone to rot. The Konastakavi open-pit mine, situated in central Ukraine near the town of Alexandria, functioned from 1987 to 2010. The mine used to produce more than 1 million tons of coal every year. Now, the mine is obviously abandoned, but there is some machinery found in there that is absolutely incredible, such as a 16-bucket rotary excavator, ERS HRD 5250, with a mass of 4,100 tons, a height of more than 30 meters with a conveyor flight length of 190 meters. Unfortunately, it will be sold as scrap. Don't worry though, there's more. The abandoned open-cast brown coal mine, Murakovsky, is located near the city of Olekskrabia. Several machines in this mine were built before World War II, and though there are enough resources for the next 20 years, mining stopped about 5 years ago. The place is so empty and old, it looks like there was an apocalypse or something, and it's kind of creepy. We don't know about you guys, but this is definitely not somewhere we'd want to be at night. Abandoned Russian World War II mine. Russia was an integral part of the Second World War. Naturally, there are going to be a lot of remnants from that time in which everyone would want to forget about because they represent something dark and unsettling. The Ural mountain ranges in western Russia hold such memories in their mine shafts. These mine shafts were used to extract minerals for the Russian military during the Second World War. The need for the minerals stopped when the war came to an end, and the mine was closed after that. The structure is still intact, but since it was built in a hurry, the supports are not robust. The mine is being supported by wooden logs which are crumbling because of the moss in the air, and there is a potential for gas leaks from chemicals such as methane and hydrogen sulfide carbon dioxide. But considering the fact you're seeing these photos, someone was crazy enough to still go inside. Salt mine. Romania is the treasured part of the old world, and everything about it holds that charm. Be it a Romanian castle that represents medieval times or the cemeteries that are as colorful as gardens, there is a distinctive air about the place. One such place is the Salina Turda salt mine that is now the world's largest salt museum. The salt mines were made in the 17th century completely by hand and machine and not through the use of explosives. Carrying forward this huge feat is the Salt Museum that offers a great amount of splendor to its visitor. From amphitheaters to small lakes, the museum takes you down the history lane in style, literally. The first level, which is almost 140 feet down, has bowling alleys, basketball hoops, and mini golf parks. Further down, as deep as 370 feet below the ground level, the place offers a variety of things to experience, such as access to a small lake where boats can be rented and a rotating wheel allowing visitors to see the stalagmites throughout the cave. World's biggest abandoned mine. Looks like we've made our way back to Russia. Mir Mine, or Mirny Mine, was an open-pit diamond mine in Siberia, which was eventually closed down in 2004. The mine was established under incredibly taxing conditions. The winter temperatures were so low that car tires and steel would shatter and oil would freeze. During its peak years of operation, the mine produced 10 million carats of diamond per year, of which a relatively high fraction, 20%, were of gem quality. This worried De Beers Company, which at the time was distributing most of the world's diamonds. The company was forced to buy larger and larger shipments of high-quality Russian diamonds in order to control the market price. For De Beers, Mir was a puzzling mystery, so he asked to have a tour of the site. As luck would have it, the Russian government would dodge the request, only offering a small 20-minute tour in the end that practically yielded nothing. Until 2004, the mine was controlled by a few local companies but was closed permanently after that. Bell Island Mine, underwater mine. The iron ore mines of Bell Island began to function in the 1890s and went on to fetch rich iron deposits until 1949. After it was closed abruptly, the pumps were shut off and fresh water flooded the caverns. This enabled the place to preserve perfectly under the water. A historic event took place when a team of deep-sea divers decided to explore the construction of the mining site underneath. This was a successful routine, and the testimonial of each diver only adds to the legend of this site. With artifacts such as shovels and lunchboxes which belong to the miners, found underneath, a museum of sorts can be experienced in a capacity. Louisville Mega Cavern, Kentucky. The Louisville Mega Cavern in Kentucky functioned between 1930 and 1970 as a limestone source, but as rough patches began to grow, the place shut down automatically. It thrived around World War II, and it was great for the government because they wanted to build more infrastructure and limestone was needed to make the cement. The cavern apparently had enough limestone to build the 3 pyramids in Egypt, roughly 4 million square feet in size. The place was then bought by its current owners in the 1980s. At one point during the Cuban Missile Crisis, the place was used as shelter to over 50,000 people. Today, however, the cavern offers underground adventures. Copper Kennecott Mine, Alaska. The Kennecott Mining Camp was the center of activity for several copper mining camps. They were built in the early 1900s and represent a time of ambition and innovation. They tell stories of westward expansion, World War I politics and economy, the lives of men, women, and children who lived there, and the rise of multinational corporation. From 1911 to 1938, nearly $200 million worth of copper was produced. At the peak of operation, approximately 300 people worked in the mill town and 200 to 300 in the mines. Kennecott was a self-contained company town that included a hospital, general store, school, skating rink, tennis court, recreation hall, and dairy. Zip World Slate Caverns, Wales. The Zip World Slate Caverns is another underground adventure spot that was originally a cavern and was untouched for nearly 200 years. The Zip World Slate Cavern offers extreme sporting prospects. They also offer training in zip lines, rope bridges via tunnels, and many more. The place has been converted into a consumer-friendly spot with great care. Salt Cathedral. Old mines that are abandoned are usually dilapidated and non-functioning, or in simpler words, just trash. However, there are examples of old mines being reused to create structures that make us want to stand up and applaud. Not only is this a good use of an already occupied space, but the whole concept is incredibly appealing and, for the lack of a better word, just cool. There are bookstores, concert halls, and even racetracks right beneath you that you might not even be aware of. One such creation is the Salt Cathedral in Colombia. 200 yards underground near the Colombian town of Zipurica sits a functioning Roman Catholic church built into an old salt mine. Carved salt sculptures and a 16-foot cross are among the startling sights in this unusual house of worship. Island Copper Mine. The Island Copper Mine was the lowest point in the world by the time it closed. During the life of the mine, the average number employed was 450, which included quite a few husband and wife teams. Now, the pit of the mine has been filled with seawater and has been blocked off from visitors.